Hey guys, Johnny Gadget here. So I finally got my hands on the Logitech G-Cloud and I've been testing it for a few weeks. Is it still worth the price in 2025? Let's break it down. First off, this device is super lightweight. It's got a Switch Lite feel, but even more comfortable for long sessions. The 7-inch 1080p touchscreen looks clean and the analog sticks feel solid. Not elite controller level, but good enough. I added a couple of thumb grips just to make them more comfortable, since they were similar to those on the Nintendo Switch. The D-pad is a 4-way directional pad, and while it's not my preferred type of D-pad, it's pretty functional for what it is. The membrane responds well during rapid touches and fighting games. This yellow button basically operates in the same manner that the menu buttons works on Xbox and PS5, and that's a home button to close the applications. The face buttons feel very tactile, with the start button right above it and the select button right above the left analog stick. On the upper area of the device, we have a slot here for micro SD cards, even though it's not really necessary to extend the storage. We also have your power buttons, which by the way offers sleep functionalities, and your volume rockers. The bumpers have a very good feeling to them. They feel pretty clicky and responsive. The triggers are actually analog, but they have a pretty decent reach, and they work great with the linear haptics that the system offers. Let's take a look at behind the system, because the grips here are some of the most comfortable ones that I've ever tried. The ergonomics are almost as good as the Steam Deck, and the lightweight prevents any fatigue. And at the bottom, we have a 3.5 jack for wired headphones and a Type-C input for charging, but it also offers video out, and your set of speakers at the bottom of the device. The specs may not seem that impressive. We have a 7-inch 1080p display that uses the old Snapdragon 720G, only 4GB of RAM, and 64GB of storage, but the battery can last up to 12 hours depending on how you game. The UI is pretty friendly user. It displays your most recent applications, including the most recent games that you have played, giving you the choice of simply selecting that game and start playing it right away. It's important to understand what the device is for. You will not be playing the games natively, since it's primarily a streaming device or an accessory to conduct remote playing. And it does it quite well. Think of this as a PlayStation Portal, only with some more additional features. Let's take a look at how this does remote playing from the PS5.
Folks, I have to once again defend myself against the spurious claims from McDonald Mac Gargan, aka
I think it does a pretty good job at maintaining 60 FPS, and the 1080p resolution looks phenomenal on this 7-inch screen. As for haptics, it may not offer the same level of immersion as the LP Portal or a DualSense controller, but it's got some decent HD rumble, which feels pretty intuitive, depending on the game that you're playing and its implementation. The streaming options extend beyond PlayStation and Xbox. If you own a PC, you can use streaming apps such as Steam Link or Moonlight to stream your games directly from your computer. Here I have Cyberpunk, running at 1080p and 60 frames per second. Besides game streaming and remote play, the Logitech G-Cloud also offers a level of emulation. However, considering the low specs in regards to RAM, you need to approach this area with realistic expectations. And I think it's safe to go retro all the way to the PSP generation, since more powerful systems, such as the PS2 or the GameCube, will not give you the best performance. One caveat to consider about getting this device is that in order to take full advantage of its functions, it's best to have paid premium options when it comes to streaming, such as Game Pass or GeForce Now, a decent library of games, and a strong internet connection. But if streaming apps is not for you, there's definitely a lot of value in using this device specifically for remote play, assuming that you own a PS4, PS5, Xbox, or a PC, and the additional option of emulation. The G Cloud is essentially an Android tablet, trapped in a controller shell, making it very familiar if you're involved in the Android ecosystem. Access to your Play Store, where you can purchase new Android games, or simply play games that you already own. Just don't expect to play Call of Duty Mobile or Genshin Impact at the highest settings. A pretty neat feature for Android games is also control mapping, which is pretty handy for games that don't support any controller. Take DH6 for instance, which does not support any controller. But if you hold this button here, you're gonna get the options for control mapping, which allows you to drag and select every action from the touchscreen and program it into one of the buttons on your controller, making now the game fully compatible with the physical buttons on the G Cloud. So in conclusion, I do think that the G Cloud is a real champion when it comes to streaming, remote playing, and the level of emulation that it offers. It is the main competitor for the PlayStation Portal, but I think its $300 price is a little too steep. I think the sweet spot for this guy will be about $249.99, since the Portal is actually priced at $199, and this device offers way more for its value. But let me know your thoughts on the Logitech G Cloud. Do you feel that it's worth $300? Please leave your comments down below, like, subscribe, and happy gaming.